Tom, it is time again for the segment that nobody wanted. Again, everyone who listens to the show has been hurtfully forward about their opinions regarding this segment, and yet the mail keeps coming in. So here we are with a little bit of a throwback start to an episode. We're gonna have a few mailbag questions. Are you ready, bud?
Ready,
buddy. All right, this one comes from Ken in Youngstown, Ohio. Hi, Tom. Zuchs or Cukes?
Ooh, Zuchs or Cukes? We grew both in our garden and have been enjoying the yields, the harvest of both of those. We actually just had our first zucchinis tonight in this chicken rice thing that I made.
Chicken and rice and everything nice?
Yeah, and some vegan ranch. It was really great.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah. I think, I mean, God, it depends so much.
Dare I say turn up the heat, my good man?
Ranch is spicy. So I would say Zuchs. It might just be a recency bias as I literally just ate it 20 minutes ago.
Zuchs are having a year. Zuchs are having a moment. Nothing against Cukes, but Zuchs are legitimately having a very strong 2018.
Oh, yeah.
They can be zoodled, all sorts of stuff. So,
yeah.
Nothing against Cukes, but I'm going to have to say Zuchs just win. I mean, we just got to lean into it, and it's having a moment.
Yeah, you don't cudel anything, but you certainly... I've seen full-size billboards for zoodles, so...
hey, man. Oodles of zoodles.
I'm a sheep, but what can I say? Zuchs.
Get on board or get the hell out of my face.
Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, of course. It's your podcast.
It's our podcast.
True.
So
you're saying I would have distinct veto power in that scenario?
Yeah.
Like, no. We're arguing about vegetables. How dare you?
So I worked at I managed this coffee shop and juice place. Juice house? Is that what it is? A juice house?
Yeah, juice house is the preferred.
And one of the recipes had cucumbers in it, and I found out for like a week this one dude was juicing zucchinis instead of cucumbers because he got confused on which was which, because we had both in the walk-in cooler, and the cucumbers had this plastic wrap on it and the zucchinis didn't, and he thought it was the other way around, so customers were getting like a zucchini juice for like a week.
It's honestly a shame. It's a shame.
But
was he fired? I mean,
he ended up running the place after I left.
Ooh. He was onto something. Well-behaved dudes never make... Well-behaved juicery men rarely make history.
I think that's it.
That's a Marilyn Monroe quote. Quote.
Marilyn
Okay, this one comes from Carol in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi, Tom. Hot takes or zebra cakes?
I mean, zebra cakes are good, but hot takes last forever.
Or do they? Or are they fleeting in their own nature, you know? It seems like the hotter the takes get,
the faster they burn out.
I'm going to go zebra cakes on this one. I know this show's all about hot takes, but zebra cakes are very tasty. Whether they come in the form of the zebe or Christmas trees or Valentine's Day hearts. It's just a quality little Debbie snack. Don't at me. Regardless of form. But we already have enough hot takes on this show. And and for which we've all apologized profusely for throughout the years. This comes from, here we go. This one comes from Steve in Florida. Hi, Tom. Have you ever eaten venison? Also, can I buy you a pedicure? I just want to make sure you're taking care of the goods.
Pedicure is feet, right?
I do believe so, yes.
Okay. I did just cut my toenails yesterday. My pinky toenail was getting... Being on a roof, you get holes in your shoes, and my pinky toenail was getting caught in this hole in the side of my shoe. It's like the weirdest.
I love the jovial laughter that comes from like, oh my God, dude, I got holes in my shoes and it is a dangerous thing for me at my job.
I was just like
super happy laughing.
This is just the most nonsense story I might have ever told. I cut my toenails the other day. So you can save your money and buy me chocolate, milk chocolate.
Tom,
please.
will you answer the question? He asked if you've ever eaten venison. Don't make this about your weird foot thing. You always take it to such a weird place, man.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, listen, just the people are asking about gamey meats, and you're over here talking about fingernail clippings like some kind of freaking psychopath. Jeez Louise. Take a deep breath. What does that dude say on that video you share? Just like, grow up, bro.
Grow up. Link in the show notes for the funniest video on the internet. Yeah, I f with venison. It's super good.
Cool. You know, in Pennsylvania, they would take the first day of deer hunting season off of school.
Yeah.
And that is a reality that we lived with and that I didn't realize was perhaps regionally based until years later.
My ex-stepdad was a big hunter. He would bring home venison. We'd have sausages and stuff. But one of the best venison experiences of my life, my friend, I've mentioned it before, he hosts a music venue on his parents' property in the mountains of Virginia. And the first year, his stepfather made bear and venison chili for like 150 people. And it was so good. But then everyone at the same time, like, really had to use the bathroom. And there was only one porta potty for like the whole festival. And it was bad news after that. But bear and venison chili, 5 stars. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Well,
yep.
Hey, there you go. Okay, last letter. Here we go. This one comes from Amanda in Pittsburgh. Hi, Tom. This is more of a comment than a question. Saw the pictures of the Zuchs from last week. Simply put, they're a crime against nature. How could you let them grow so big? I'm sorry to say that I'm disappointed in what you've done to those plants. It is hard to watch and look at. The least you could do is spare us from your social media postings and bragging about what is clearly too large. They're too large. The zucchinis are too large, and you should, it's your choice, but you don't have to make us wallow through that in our feeds. Strong words there, to be clear. Yeah, I mean, for those who haven't seen them, they're large. They're like the size of a human thigh, which is too big.
They're huge. And
for many vegetable-related contexts.
So I was unaware that there was a point to pick the Zuchs, and we clearly missed it. They turned out
in
huge.
your defense, how could you know? You just planted the seeds. You're like, yeah, hey.
Plant a seed.
And then you posted a Facebook, you're like, OMG, get a load of these Zuchs. And everyone in your comment section immediately trashed you and dragged you hard.
They're like, you mean those fucking hog pickles, you idiot?
Yeah, dude, the phrase hog pickle had me absolutely rolling. Like, yeah, those things are barely good enough for, like, swine, but they are technically just good enough for swine. Also, you're doing a poor job, quite frankly, Tom. Like family members just digging deep into you. How do you feel? Are you okay? You're doing all right after that public show of just utter dismemberment?
We have our own friends and our own listeners turning on me now for just trying to save the world one Zook at a time, or one hog pickle at a time. Sorry, Amanda.
Sounds like you haven't learned your lesson. You're not saving anything. You are. These are. I mean, those are vastly too large. Unless you have hogs in your backyard that you are feeding.
When we move to Kauai, we'll save them for the wild hogs out there.
Is that going to be before or after the Japanese countryside? Just a quick.
Shut up. It's going to be at the same time. I'm buying 2 houses, dude.
Ooh, I like it. I'm here to support the dream. I'm not hating. I am hating on your gardening skills because I'm with Amanda and the rest of the. Mob mentalities are usually dangerous, but I'm hopping on the bandwagon on this one. Those were vastly too large, and you should really take a minute to think about what you.
Apologies to Amanda and my garden. Poor thing.
Yeah. I read the note word for word. She was obviously passionate about
Zuchs,
letting us know. Hey, Zuchs, Cukes, and everything in between, but no nukes. hugs and everything like that. Would you like to move on to our main topic of the day?
Yeah, let's do it. But first, let's solicit more questions, less hate mail. If you want to,
No, bring it. Bring the thunder.
Yeah,
Give us
okay.
what you got.
Bring everything. Reminiscentpodcast.com/ask, and you can send a query or a comment or concern into the mailbag. And
yeah, we've basically this week was pretty squash related content, so maybe we veer from gardening and that general area of topics for now. But hey, send us what you want.
So the main topic was inspired by me missing one of my favorite band's shows last night. That band being The Story So Far, and they opened for Taking Back Sunday and Coheed and Cambria. And
for what it's worth, we did a whole Taking Back Sunday episode last week. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. We debate where you want to be versus tell all your friends, and it's a good time.
I had a lot of fun. The reason that I missed this show is because there is a point in a band's career where I think it is the worst time to be a fan. And that is where, so the bands that like I listen to, right, aren't going to be selling out Madison Square Garden or whatever. They'll get to the point of headlining a club venue. But some bands go beyond that and they'll start opening for the bigger outdoor venues. And
Can I just say that you are a large Taylor Swift fan?
Well, yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
All right. I'm just going to say.
So what I should say is the shows that I go to are going to be smaller to medium capacity club venues where the tickets are $15, right?
Gotcha. Okay. Because people get mad. You get mad when people say, even pose the question, is Tom a hipster? And you're like, I am not. But if I replay that audio, that fucking sentence that you just said out loud, you'd be like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Geez.
Well, dude, hipsters don't listen to like pop punk, right? Like it's not. Okay, so I knew that this was going to come off this way.
Ooh, you should be a pop punk. You should be are they a hipster lawyer? Because you're like, well, technically this is pop punk, guys. So I'm not even sure why we're here. Can you tell me why we're here? Judge? Anybody? No? Yeah.
I knew it was going to sound like this, but I'm asking you to listen to what I'm saying.
I am listening. And
okay.
I'm just saying, I just want you to make sure you know what you're saying.
Thank you.
Because it sounds distinctly like things that you don't want. I don't know. You've mentioned in the past you say people label you as a hipster of sorts based on your appearance, and that is not something that tickles your fancy.
Right.
It makes you quite angry, actually.
So okay. So for example, The Story So Far, they are a pop punk band, Walnut Creek, California, and they put on amazing, amazing, amazing shows. And for the past 5 or 6 years that I've been seeing them, they've been headlining these shows. And when you think about like the ambiance of a club venue, right? It's dark, there's lights, there might be fog machines, everyone's tightly packed in, and you're like up against the stage. Now, when you go from headlining and being the big guy at the club venue, the next step is to go to the outdoor venues like Red Rocks or like Merriweather in DC or whatever, or I guess that's technically Maryland, and you're opening at like 6 o'clock. There's like a 10-foot barrier, and you're watching this band in broad daylight. There's no lights, there's no atmosphere, there's no ambience to it. People are sitting in chairs watching them. And it just seems like a really weird step to go from headlining the club to opening an outdoor thing where there's people sitting in like a lawn area. It just like, I really enjoy the club venues, and it's not like, oh, because the bands are like underground and whatever. It's so frustrating to like, now I think seeing the bands like The Story So Far is going to be different because the vibe and the atmosphere of the venues they're playing are different. And again, trying to not sound like a hipster, I'm excited for their success that they're doing these bigger shows, but I feel like the experience is ultimately worse until they're headlining these shows. But then again, I don't like outdoor sound systems. I think they sound like shit. So I don't know. It is kind of this weird thing where I want the bands that I like to not stay small, but to stay headliners at the indoor venues. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you feel that way at all, or do you care what venue you're at when you see what band, or like, are you super hyped about the lights and stuff like I am? Like, I feel like I do rely on them to kind of build some of the intensity during a show. Like, a good light show can really make something that much cooler. Other people don't care or say they won't notice. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that other people feel.
I think that it depends what you're going for. I think there's a lot of, there's some radio. I heard this the other day. So someone was talking about things that are like established good and whether or not you're allowed to like them anymore, right? Like Starbucks or U2, right? But I mean, U2, people love to hate Bono, but the lights they use and the stadium shows they do put on, Springsteen, right? If you saw him at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, I'm sure you wouldn't have a bad time, right? There's something to be said for so many thousands of people screaming their hearts out when a good light show's happening, or a Taylor Swift concert live in person. I'm sure is rather fantastic, and I'm sure there's a lot of elements there that do work well. But like you said, when you're there 10 feet away from the stage, separated by a gate for the opener, you're just kind of like, it's definitely, in this, those tweets to start off like, in this essay, I'll talk about why Ticketmaster prompted the decline of America. You know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for your gate thing. But yeah, I mean, what do? You go to different types of shows and try to pick and choose why you go to certain ones, right? There was a nice venue in Albuquerque we used to go to, Low Spirits, I think it was called. I don't know if it's still in business, but, they would just get one-person acts that were super weird. And some nights it was a waste of time, and other nights it was just oddly magical, right? You'd get one or two dudes that could really rip it up. Like there was this one act where a guy had a door that he found, like in a junkyard, and that was his percussion for like 2 years. He would just stomp on it and play guitar. And another guy like duct taped an old payphone to a space helmet, a fake space helmet, and put a microphone into the payphone stub. And he was wearing like an all onesie racer uniform and would go, woo, and shoot out confetti after every song. And the songs weren't very good, but it was just like a goofy showmanship thing, I guess. Anyway.
But what was the size of that venue like? Was it like a coffee shop?
I think if there were 70 people in that bar, it would have been against fire code, So it was very, very, very small, very intimate for sure.
Do you think that small, intimate setting made those kind of weird, offbeat performances more fun? Like, would you pay $40 to see that on a big stage from 100 yards away?
I will say this. I think that I saw the Hold Steady in Braddock, PA once in a small theater that was tiny and very intimate. It's kind of like just like an old school theater, right, where plays would normally happen, but smaller, maybe community theater. And it was really intimate and still good. But then I saw them again at like a larger venue, kind of like the one you were describing, Gatey. And I still jumped around with the people that were Hold Steady fans in both instances. So I don't know. I think it would vary case to case. I will say this: when you said you wanted to talk about gates, I think there's it's less romantic now than it was in like 1971, right? Like our parents' stories about like, I remember that time I saw X, Y, or Z. And we got in for $3, or like we just happened to get in for free because somebody had punched some dude and we ducked under the fist, or whatever crap like that. Just the 70s being free, or according to their stories, which have probably been shaped and molded over time. But right. I remember Jon Stewart's rally to restore sanity, and I think it was 2011.
12.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I stayed with you before that, but we went to the National Mall and stayed there overnight, right? And we felt we had earned a front row seat, right? But the first 50 yards from the stage were prepaid like VIP sections, which felt like a kind of a rip. Like granted, we were still as close as we could have been for free just to go enjoy that festival, but it was still real far from the stage to see with the naked eye. And it felt, I don't know, like, I don't know, you can buy a good time anymore. It's hard to like really weasel your way into. Granted, I'm not going to get into a fight with a life hack guru about how to enjoy life on the cheap, but I think what we're trying to say here is that perhaps the process of seeing a show is less romantic over time. Is that what you're trying to say?
At the bigger venues, I guess.
Like Live Nation and Ticketmaster and all the, for the bigger shows. Like if we wanted to go see Blink nowadays, we're not going to go catch them we don't live in San Diego. They're not going to do like a library show in Cincinnati or Denver, So,
well, and that's the thing. Like, so like I said, the bands that I listen to primarily are going to be playing those smaller, more intimate venues. So I think seeing a headlining band at a big venue would be more fun. There's still the barricade and that weird thing where like, I just don't get people just stand in like stadium seating and watch the band. You're so far away, you can't really move around anywhere. Like we saw Brand New standing in stadium seats at Merriweather, and it was like, dude, I want to move around. I want to crowd surf. I want to stage dive, right? Like you can get on stage with the bands at smaller venues and jump off of it into a sea of people, right? It's just, you don't get that when they're playing Red Rocks because you're so far away. And the thing,
but with that said, and I'm not a Jason Isbell fan. I guess I enjoy the Avid Brothers. I think I don't know if the vibe is just different at certain venues. Like, I don't know if you're supposed to thrash around at Red Rocks, right? Or is it more of a, we're all probably high and just kind of swaying along to this, It's more of a sway venue. It might be venue to venue. It might be case by case in a lot of ways. And I know we always end up saying that after any discussion we have, taking things on a case by case basis, that is. But I'm not sure. I don't know. It sounds like you are able to find your own good times, though. Like, when you're getting into a situation that you wouldn't want to go see stadium shows that often. Yeah,
I kind of know what I'd be getting into. But it was just like my favorite band was in town, and I didn't want to see them because I didn't want to pay $40 to see them open when I used to pay $15 to see them headline at a more intimate place. So it's just like, it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. But again, it's like, if I say I want them to be headliners at the small venue, is that like trying to hold them back from progress and getting bigger? Like, is the glass ceiling on a pop punk band just to be the opener for bigger venues? Like, can they really headline Red Rocks? Which I guess the Wonder Years did a couple weeks ago. But again, God.
I don't know if that's necessarily unique to this time period, though. You grew up with I'm sure somebody who saw Van or Pearl Jam when they were just starting out, or whoever happened to get lucky enough to catch Nirvana at their first few club shows, now you have to see Eddie Vedder at Wrigley almost exclusively, right? And it's going to cost you a lot, right, to see Pearl Jam, where for in the early 90s, it would have been a different story altogether. So I don't know and sorry if I'm missing your point altogether, but that's probably just how it goes, right? You grow up with these bands, they grow up too, and they have kids, and it takes a larger paycheck to get them to leave their families for a long period of time and things like that. And that's me purely guesswork on my part, but I think that comes with the territory.
No, I definitely do get that. I think most of my frustration is coming from just knowing that the bands that I listen to will probably never get to that point. So are they stuck opening big outdoor venues forever? Because they're not going to go backwards. But how much further can they really go? Because it's such a small niche,
They're going to... when I was covering Bunbury in Cincinnati this past weekend, a few months ago, getting my time to
yesterday, 6 years ago.
I'm still at the show. They were, granted, that's a music festival. It's a little different, but not much. They had a middle of the day set, and there was a big, I wasn't a VIP member of the ticket holding public. And we were at the gate, we were leaning on it, and people, they played like a medley from the album I like most. And the first 7 minutes was just, they really got after it. Manchester Orchestra, that is. And people there seem to enjoy themselves. I don't know. It's better than having to have driven to, some shitty Brooklyn bar, to see them play some goofy long weekend residency at like one of the most intimate basement who gives a right? Like, but the people who live in Cincinnati who were able to see him that weekend were probably very grateful for. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just think this comes with it, right? Like, if they're still playing small show, like it's tough to like if you're still getting people to pay money to see you over time. That means you've probably gotten better, right? So it's just how can that not be the trajectory? But I guess you're saying, is it possible to get stuck in the middle? And that way, no one's able to enjoy you. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. And I mean,
who are the example of those bands that you're referencing? Like they've reached the middle and they're stuck in the middle.
I mean, the story so far is the most on my mind, just because it was yesterday.
Who are they opening for?
They were opening for Taking Back Sunday and Coheed and Cambria.
That's right. You mentioned that.
So, like, dude, Taking Back Sunday.
That's not a bad tour to be on, though.
It is, but like, and Coheed and Cambria is objectively good. I just don't know many of their songs. Oh. And I haven't listened to Taking Back Sunday's past 2 albums. And I forgot to mention this last week. I saw Taking Back Sunday in Baltimore 3 years ago, and I could not believe how good they sounded. I wanted to mention that. Oh my god!
They've been in the game for a while, man. They're a polished act.
Yeah, dude. It was good. It was really good. And I love that they didn't f around with an encore. They're like, this is our last song. When it was done, they walked off the stage and never came back out. I really appreciated that.
Hey, there you
go. But yeah, so I guess I'm just, if more examples, I mean, and again, I used to listen to the Encore podcast, and they would reference the glass ceiling on the bands in our niche, right? Like pop punk and pop rock and shit. It's pretty low. And so you
it's like having acted in a comedy at the Oscars. Is that what you're saying? Like you really don't have a chance?
Well, it's just it's not.
What's the most famous pop punk band?
A Blink-182. I would think, or Green Day, but they even turned into something different. I'd say like
Green Day's pop punk necessarily.
I guess they used to be. Back
Here's
when
a question for you, and we might have to save this for an episode. If Blink-182's pop punk, what in the mother living is Mayday Parade?
Pop rock.
What about Forever the Sickest Kids?
Oh man, God, there was a name for it. Some kind of like something that sounded made up just for them.
Low-key Snapstick? Is that the...
It would be pop rock though. And like, so in my band, The Good Fight, we called ourselves pop punk, but I always described it as uppercase pop, lowercase punk.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's my question. The Freaking Wonder Years, to me, that's distinctly pop punk.
Well, not anymore.
Sound nothing like Blink-182.
Not anymore.
I'm talking about the upsides.
Okay, the upsides, sure. Well, pop punk has changed.
Oh, there's some outside heat.
Yeah.
There's some. Okay, we're warming it up. Sorry if it was chilly for everybody listening, but we're turning up the heat a little bit here. You can take off your coats and sweaters, stay a little while. Pop punk, says my co-host Tom, has changed over time. Get comfortable. It's about to get wild.
But more than anything, it's changed me, right?
Whoa. Over the next 10,000 words, I will take you from Tyson's All-American Reject lyric, "Be with me, please, I beseech you," all the way up to Forever the Sickest Kids yelling, "Hey, Brittany," over and over. I honestly, my dream for this show, when we switch over to a music show exclusively, I want to do an hour on just the phrase, "Be with me, please, I beseech you," and talk about how it changed everything.
Well, I want to say episode 100 doesn't mean we're music only. It's just
it did.
Well, no, we talked about it off air. It's going to be basically what this episode is, right? A couple segments, 20 minutes of music talk, and then
this is 0% what we talked about. We said we were switching to do more music shows.
Think of whatever
wrap up the journal stuff.
Think of whatever this episode is. That's what it's probably going to be moving forward.
Interesting. So we're not doing music episodes.
We're doing one right now.
No, we're doing an old school mailbag, a couple bits, a random topic. This just happens to be a topic that coincides with music. So you're saying you want to open them up in the future with mailbags and things like that?
No. Well, okay. Going slightly.
To me, the meditation and the "Oh Canada" dies when we become a music show.
Oh no!
We're going to wrap up all the journaling at episode 1. So there is no rebrand.
I'm not doing 45 minutes of a topic. I can't sustain that much focus.
We have before.
We used to do 1.5 hour episodes, Pat.
I hate that we did.
I can't.
There's so much audio out there that could like ruin our lives. Not ruin our lives, but people would just be like, ugh, you know. So, like that's my biggest. Like you are on a whole new career path, and we have come a long way in our lives. But honestly, my biggest thing is like, man, when this like drowns us both, when we're running for public office or whatever, it is gonna hurt. But it'll be like something we saw coming a mile away. I mean, we haven't technically tried to hide it, although we pretty much have. But yeah, no, there's hours that you could have interns pour through. You'll find something. For example, puking in front of a Hallmark store. You could go dig up that anecdote if you really worked hard enough. But anyway, so there is no rebrand, is the breaking news here, is what I'm hearing.
No. We're just going to, okay. I guess we're talking about this. Music talk is over.
You brought this on yourself because we had a long conversation about what it was going to be. And everything we said that day is not reflecting at all what you just said.
What I'm thinking is that if our episodes are 45 minutes long, we do 25 to a half an hour on the topic, go out of the gate with the topic, like our story, or Taking Back Sunday episode. And then maybe we'll do a meditation or No Canada or whatever, and then do 10 minutes of just us chatting, and then Song of the Week, done. So it's not like this is a music thing. This is all we're talking about. And when we're done talking about it...
You're changing the logo to a cassette tape with the name of the show on it.
Right, but we can have... You know, the
Don't
main...
make this a competition between whose voice can go higher, because that'll get weird. All right, we don't have to go there.
No, I mean, I was just thinking that's the main point of it, but it's not.
Sure. No, I got you. I got you. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
The listeners haven't seen the new artwork yet.
Oh, uh-oh.
They may have thought they did because I put on Instagram the little mock-up that I made that we both agreed was a little too like television show looking. So I actually hired a graphic designer and a very, very dear friend of mine.
Of Geraldine. Oops. All right. But anyway, tweet us, y'all, if you if you have any suggestions moving forward. It'll get a little less journally as we hit triple digits. Am I at least correct there?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have I think probably the last 5 episodes, or maybe final 3. We'll take a deep look back at the journey so far. If you've gone from 0 to 100 and you're still on that path, Godspeed. I don't know why you're doing this to yourself, but here we are. And we're trying to get through it. Hopefully this has brought you some joy.
Hey, but that's not to say that if either of us has something pressing, we won't discuss it.
I think it does mean that. I mean, our friendship's going to change on a dime. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. So not much will change, folks. Much ado about nothing.
It'll just be a better version of what it is, I think.
Okay, so it could be episode 87. It could be episode 103. There's no distinct. Anyway, we haven't heard from them in a while, but I think we were going to hear from our friends up north real quick before we ended the show.
Oh, yeah. They're just coming off a nice little 3-day weekend, and they were eager to share the broadcast.
All right. So this is from our friends in Winnipeg. Hey, Tom. Happy Civic Holiday, mate. Righto.
Hey, to you too there, bruv.
Hey, what'd you get into there?
Oh, I went down to Timmy Hortons and had me some Timbits and doused them in maple syrup, and it was a bloody good time there.
Did you run into a moose?
No moose this time.
Oh, that's good. That's a good Civic Holiday. I ran into 4 last year.
Tell you what, bruv, 3-day weekends are the bee's knees.
In Canada, it's hard to be sure. It's hard to be sure. Anyway, I just wanted to stop by, say hello to my good mate, say happy Civic Holiday, and that it's good to be a Canadian, now and forever, and God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. I was like totally distracted by the Australian accent.
It was stronger this week.
It was good.
I was trying to channel my YTT I just watched The Wilderpeople by Taika Waititi, the guy who did Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
And Who We Are in the Shadows or Where We Are in the Shadows. I forget. My brain's dying, which is bad for the human condition, I've heard. But Taika Waititi, that's my attempt to sound like him. He has collaborated with Flight of the Conchords in the past.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Very cool.
Yeah, there you go. Happy Civic Holiday to all. Looking at you, Winnipeg. Nice to hear from those fellas. Glad to hear they're doing well.
How was the rest of your week been? Got a few minutes here.
Oh, okay. I see that the tables have turned a bit. Now here we are, just like the old days. Just gonna start talking about stuff. That is, I thought we had left these days behind, but here we are.
Never changed, dude.
Huh. Well, I guess we're just gonna go for it then. Yeah, my week has been pretty good. It's been a busy couple weeks, and for those of you going from 0 to 100, we'll have a journal-y pre-wedding episode maybe next week where I kind of get into what's been going on the past couple months. Tom's been good enough to let me save some of it because some of it's I didn't want to have tied to, a goofy debate about Taking Back Sunday and Hanson and things like that. But definitely, I know I haven't been as open these past few dozen episodes, but so that'll come before the wedding, and which is a month from the 8th. This should drop Friday, so Wednesday's the 8th, I believe. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's coming, and this weekend my sister and brother will come up to Athens, Ohio, and I think we're going to try to do a bachelor party type situation.
Nice. Which
is should be all right. It's kind of surreal, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Definitely the guest list stuff. Anyway, wedding stuff. We'll do a good episode next week for you. Anyway, that's what's been going on, and I guess I just talked myself into saving everything I was about to say until next week.
That was a great look forward.
I think it was. I don't know. It was actually kind of drawn out and saved almost nothing, but also everything at the same time.
Well, the month before the wedding is definitely when it gets exciting. Ours was out of town, as is yours, so we didn't really do anything until the week before. So it got real crazy.
Well, ours is in town for Jesse's side. So
right.
I'm trying to track people down and get them to go to the website and use the hotel that is on the site. And
I still need to book flights and hotels and shit, dude. It's,
Make sure you use the one thing that's weird is like trying to text people, which you can't do because it's tacky. But like, hey, we have minimums to hit for. We set up a block of rooms because we thought people would want that because it's cheaper and helpful. But in the day of Airbnb, like we just caught word that our New Mexico friends are like really excited and want to get an Airbnb together, and we're like, you bastard.
Dude, we paid out of pocket for all the inn rooms at Leroux, and all these people were like trying to go elsewhere, and it was the same thing. Like, listen, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, people were like, "Hey, can we fly not into what would be easiest and drive?" And like, how would that look? I'd be like, you can do whatever the you want at this point. It's just like, as long as we hit the minimum, it's no sweat off my crap or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And
yeah, dude, it's a lot.
No sweat off my crap is the worst thing I've ever said.
Well, you tell people to do one simple thing that in theory is helpful.
Right. It's like, this is the easiest thing, it's the cheapest. And I don't know, maybe it's like human instinct to be like, ooh, I think I'm gaming the system a little bit. It's like, what system? You can you don't need a car in this scenario if you go to this, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
We wouldn't just be like, hey, you could do the way we want to put you, it's a little harder and a little more expensive, but we recommend it. It's like the easiest, cheapest possible. It's just, you try to do something, it's just like, people are like, hey, what if we don't? It's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah, currently, as of the recording, we are 7 rooms short of Friday to hit our minimum. We should hit it. We have another 10 days to hit the benchmark.
I will RSVP tonight then.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Sorry, dude. I keep forgetting.
No, it's cool. Yeah. I think you and Zach, I think there's like, honestly, it'll just happen this week. And this weekend in Athens, I can get on some people.
Yeah.
Because it's weird because we sent out save the dates that were also the invites kind of. And I think we kind of confused people, but also I get that people just kind of set them on their coffee table or hang them on their fridge and forget about them, But now that we're a month out, we're doing that final sweep of like, hey, here's that link, if you don't mind, it's just like, I feel like if we sent proper invites, it would have happened this way anyway. There was always going to be like a dozen or two people that just kind of, Jesse and I had a discussion the other day about whether or not you need to give people the benefit of the doubt. Because it's like, if you use their hotel, we want to give you gift bags and stuff, but we can't tell you that. You know what I mean? So it's like people who just buy at our hotel but don't go through the link that we've sent them 3 times. Like,
Dude,
do they deserve to skip out on it? They're like, hey, I didn't get a gift bag. It's like, well, you fucking didn't. And we try to make it literally as easy as possible.
I know. And this is what I was pulling my hair
We're
out
doing
about
it
too,
for
man.
you.
Yep. This is the fun part.
So, yeah. And then, the other day, Jesse was saying stuff like, I'm probably blowing all the content we could use next week. But, she's like, hey, make sure that you did that. It's like, for show. It's like, actually, I was going to try to botch this one just to add a little spice. Variety is the spice of life. But just final month stuff, and you guys will get more of a glimpse into everything next week. But it's been, there's been a heck of a lot, both at work and
It's life.
With wedding stuff. Yeah, it's been good. And Tom's been a good friend throughout, as you can all imagine. But I guess I will ask you now at this point how your week was. Can't stop talking about my own.
I am dying, dude.
That's the worst response I could even think of.
I think that maybe 3 weeks ago I expressed concern that I didn't have enough podcasting work. That might have been true.
Yeah, when you admitted that everyone was at podcast movement.
Yeah. In the past 8 days, I've done more episodes than I've done any month previously.
Here's my question.
Sure.
If you worked 40 hours a week, would you be making the salary you desired? Like, is this a job that pays, like, if you worked 40 hours a week, editing 8 hours a day, would you be making what you hoped to with your self-employment?
I'd be making 2.5 times what I'm making at Tesla.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So do you have to drop Tesla is the question? But then that brings up the healthcare thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the healthcare thing. Like, so, all right. So in the past 8 days, I've made $1,500 editing. But there's been some 10, some 12-hour days editing. And I knew that this month was going to be hard because 2 new shows launched, so there were extra episodes. But yeah, in the past, was that 8 days, I've done 22 episodes. And to put that in perspective, I did about that much the past 3 months. And the money's great, but I have done nothing but edit. Because so I have 3 days of editing and then 3 days of Tesla and then 1 day off. I don't want to come home and edit during after days at Tesla because my job is, oh my God, dude. It seems to be getting worse every day there. But it's a super good problem to have. But
yeah, these were your goals when we started the show. I'm excited for the late 90s, the episodes in the late.
Yeah, I'm totally burnt out right now. And today I started to feel some of that pain of the internet kept going out. One of my clients needed all this extra stuff done that lost me an hour of time. I was supposed to edit 5 shows. I only got 3 done. One of them I forgot that I had. So the rest of it's being saved for tomorrow. I've basically been in my basement since 9 o'clock this morning. And it's now 10:30 at night, with no break. Although I did buy some little interlocking gym mats on, it's actually Craigslist, the first time I've used Craigslist in a long time. So I'm trying to do at least a half-hour workout while stuff is bouncing down or something, trying to get back in shape, move around, because sitting still for 12 hours is weirdly painful. So I'm trying to move around a bit, get a little healthier, but yeah, I'm fucking drowning right now, man. I'm so tired too.
Burpees and Slurpees, dude. Those are the 2.
I did 15 burpees today, actually, Pat, at the end of my workout. So I wanted to do 30, but it was after a pretty intense interval training workouts.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man.
You're living your dream in a weird way. Not even a weird way. It's just
in a great way.
What I was trying to say, but I lost my train of thought. Anyway.
You want to give a song of the week and get out of here?
Yeah, what I was trying to say is I'm excited for episode 99, where we really like take a look back. I really want to go through all the old clips and like bring up, because it's been a ride. It's been fun.
Okay.
And again, there is literally no change happening at all, but still we're going to use it as a benchmark, it sounds like, at least. So
There will be change.
Nice for What by Drake off of Scorpion. It's a banger, and I love it.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he's made a couple of his hits are just him going back to the miseducation of Lauryn Hill and remixing the best parts of those songs, and that album's a classic. So it's really like how much of this is skill and how much is of this just using good Lauryn Hill stuff. But you be the judge. You tell me. I'd love to hear your opinion on the matter. Anyway, yeah, that's my song. It's great. It's a beware. I mean, you're going to want to move. That's all I can say. You're going to want to shake your thing. That's just how it's going to happen for you. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. The language is, I wouldn't blare it at work, I guess. Would be my...
Okay. On Saturday, I went to a show downtown, a little tiny kind of bar venue, and one of my friend's former coworkers' bands played. It was their first show, and you could only tell because they were super awkward in between songs. They talked way too much, and it was super awkward. But their music was...
I want you to watch Mac Miller's latest Tiny Desk concert and tell me whether or not they were more awkward than I was during that. Because he set a new bar.
Okay. But their music was super good. I think they need to hone in on what their genre really is, because they had some kind of jazzy stuff, some stuff that was like Panic at the Disco-y, and then some... I'm a huge fan of this kind of shit, but like...
You mean new Panic at the Disco?
Yeah, but like more...
I'm thinking of Time to Dance, and I'm like, is that jazzy?
But then they had some of that like creepy circus vibe music, like old Chiodos with the super dissonant like modes, and
whoa,
it was cool.
We do a Chiodos episode?
Sure.
And it's not Chiodos?
It's Chio. Well, I don't know. Chiodos. That's what I thought.
Well, we'll have to do an episode and find out.
Okay.
Stay tuned, folks.
But anyway,
if your stomach feels weak, then my work here is done. That should be the new motto of the show.
Okay. So the only song they have on iTunes right now is called Down We Go. It wasn't their best song, but it's the only one they have right now. The band is called Slightly Overdressed. Not a great name. Too many syllables.
I like it.
Yeah. But they were good. And
it's more optimistic than Slightly Underdressed.
Well... Yeah.
I like the vibe better.
So I'm going to keep my eye on them. They were a lot of fun. I think they have some work to do. I kind of want to manage them just to, I don't know. I just want to get involved in everyone's lives. I think is what
you
really
like starting projects. I can say that. And we're delving.
Well, I definitely have an hour-long Skype call tomorrow with someone who is launching a podcast, and I'm consulting for them for free to pilot my launch consulting company or side of the business.
Yeah, and usually we end the episodes before it gets too much like a psychology or psychiatric visit. And yeah, I apologize for the buzzing phone throughout this particular episode. We checked the Google Docs on our phones, and I've had it up so I could read the notes. And usually it's on silent unless it's open, and I'm reading the notes. And that's why the buzzing is very audible this week.
Okay.
But
no worries.
Yeah. So yeah. Hi, bye. I love you all. I love you, Tom. And thank you, you weirdos who have been listening to all of it. It's a weirdly strange, lovely thing. Tweet us, and yeah, the march toward 100 continues, where nothing or something will definitely maybe happen or not.
Show notes at reminiscentpodcast.com.
That's right.
/episode/87.
Grow up, bro.
Grow up.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you too, dude. See ya.